webinar, and we will begin to let our travel agent community in. Welcome, welcome, Travel Week readers. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have an awesome show planned. We've got Billy Stewart here, who is the Business Development Manager for Globus family of brands, and he has an amazing presentation for us today. I really can't wait to see it. Before we get started, just a few notes of housekeeping. Number one, if you have any questions during the course of the webinar, please feel free to pop those into the Q&A box you see at the bottom of your screen. We have some question and answer support today, and then we'll try to save some questions to the end so we can ask those live and everybody can see them answered as well. Another exciting bit of information for you today for today's webinar. We have an amazing prize, two prizes actually, two $100 Amazon gift cards for those travel agents who stay through right to the very end of today's webinar. You are going to be eligible to win one of two of those. Woohoo! So not only do you get a great presentation, you also get the chance to win an amazing prize. As you know, here at Travel Week, we are dedicated to providing the very best information so you can craft amazing holidays and book great travel product for your clients. And so knowing that, and without further ado, I am so excited to pass the floor over to Billy today. Billy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Candice. It's my pleasure to be here. I know everyone's probably got one eye on Christmas and the holidays, and I hope you have a fantastic festive season. If I forget to mention it towards the end, I'm sure I won't though. I've seen a few names come through. It's lovely to see some familiar names. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Billy Stewart. I'm the Business Development Manager for the Globus family of brands. I'm based in Vancouver. At the end of my presentation, I'll show you all of your contacts for your respective areas, and you are more than happy to reach out to them. Hopefully you've spoken to your BDM in the past, and we also have a special guest on board as well to help with all the question and answers. Before I introduce him, I just want to say that normally the questions that people ask, I do cover during the presentation. So if you can try and keep them towards the end, that would be great. But if there is a burning question that you really want to ask, then feel free to, because our amazing inside sales representative, Zain Sayed, he's here on the chat. So in the question and answer box, I see there's someone introducing themselves from South Carolina. Hello, Valerie. You can ask your questions there, but again, if you can keep them to the end and then we can have an open dialogue, I'm happy to stay on afterwards and chat to everybody. And hopefully you guys and girls can learn a lot about the Avalon difference. I'm just going to share my screen now so you don't have to look at my mug, and we're going to share it, and away we go. Okay, Candice, can I just get a thumbs up or a confirmation that you can see exactly what I want you to see?
We can see you, looking great.
Perfect, awesome. Well, again, my name is Billy Stewart. I'm the BDM for BC, and I represent the Globus family of brands. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, we have three very distinct brands. We have Globus, Cosmos, and Avalon Waterways. But today we're focusing on Avalon Waterways, which is our incredible relaxed luxury river cruising, and it really is cruising elevated. But instead of me telling you all about the Avalon Way and the Avalon difference, I'm going to let one of our ambassadors tell you about it, the very handsome and the very brilliant Graham McTavish.
There may be comfort in the usual, but true discovery and remarkable experiences are the rewards for the curious. They are the gifts that reside beyond the ordinary. Welcome aboard Avalon. Smaller ships, bigger experiences, fewer people, more of everything, right at your fingertips. And you wake up in the best staterooms in the business, to a new port every day, right in the heart of great cities, with nothing but possibilities ahead. Driven by out-of-the-box thinking and a relentless pursuit of better, Avalon heard the siren song to elevate cruising, and they have. So if you believe that life is worth living, not looking, memories are worth making, the better stories need better settings. that we could all use a little different. You're ready for an Avalon cruise. Cruising elevated.
Billy, you're still on mute.
There you go. Sorry about that technology. Graham McTavish is one of our ambassadors, and he is going to be hosting one of our storyteller cruises. So every year we have multiple departures that are storyteller series, and Graham McTavish is a very famous author and actor. If you've seen Outlander or The Witcher, you'd be familiar with Graham, and he'll be on one of our cruises later on in 2024. And I'll touch on some different styles of cruising throughout the presentation as well. But as you can see here, we have loads of options for your clients, more or almost 80 cruises. We will have more than that in 2025, which is exciting. Currently on 11 rivers, not just in Europe, but also on the Mekong, the Nile, the Galapagos, and then, yeah, I think I've said it all. Yeah. And then 24 countries. So we've got all of your river cruising, all the main rivers around the world covered, including some of the more popular and famous ones in Europe, like the Rhine, the Moselle, the Danube as well. One of the main differences between Avalon that really does set us apart is our smaller ships. Now, our average passenger count is 150, so much smaller than some of the other operators in our space. So a lower passenger count and a 3-to-1 crew to guest ratio, or guest to crew ratio, sorry. So that means that if you ever need some assistance while you're cruising with Avalon Waterways, there is always someone around to help you out as well. And a 95% cruise satisfaction or guest satisfaction rate. So we know that your clients are going to get an amazing experience, and we have more than a 50% repeat rate, and a lot of those people will book within 3 months of returning. And as part of our rewarding not just travel agents, but we provide a welcome back credit for our clients to use towards their next cruise as well, from another river or another style of cruise or another destination completely. We know that sometimes people want to stay a little bit longer or arrive a little bit earlier to avoid any delays. We know that coming out of the pandemic, there's some teething issues with cancellations and stuff. So to avoid disappointment and to make sure the ship hasn't left without you, a lot of people are booking pre-accommodation, and then people might want to tack on a city or two towards the end. One example is the Rhine River. This is our romantic Rhine itinerary, where it can start and finish in Basel or Amsterdam. So a lot of people will choose to spend a couple of days in Amsterdam, or even at the end, if they're going down to Basel, you can add Lucerne, Lake Como, and Milan, or all three if you like. But there's also other destinations, like Prague is a very popular one for people doing the Danube, Belgrade, Bucharest, Paris, for example. So there are lots of options for you to customize your own cruise to add to that vacation time, because we are seeing a lot of people booking for a little bit longer coming out of the pandemic than they were before the pandemic. So 7 nights on the ship, you can add a couple of nights pre and post either way as well. And some exciting news about our longer cruises for 2024 and 25 as well, which I'll touch on a little bit later. Now, we're not in it to win awards, but we love winning awards, and it shows that we are very much ahead of the curve when it comes to providing clients an excellent experience. Now, when Cruise Critic comes out with its annual list of award winners, we're always up there, and we're very proud of our accomplishments as well. Our shore excursions have won back to back with the Cruise Critic editor's pick, and I'll talk about our excursion differences as well. We've also had the Cruiser's Choice win of the best river in Europe, and then also the best cabins. We are very famous for our Panorama Suite cabins, which I'll also touch on as well, and I'll show you the difference between that. And in the recent Cruise Critic Awards announced last week, we also won Best Cruise Line for Solo Travelers, and something that we don't really promote, but it's an ask and receive. Every departure has 5 single cabins where we will waive the solo supplement, and it's first come, first served basis. So if you do have solos wanting to travel with Avalon Waterways, please ask. It's an ask and receive, but we will waive the solo supplement for 5 cabins on each departure. But as I mentioned, it's very popular for those in the know, and we don't want to dissuade solos from traveling with us because it might be too expensive on their own. So we are very, very solo traveler friendly when it comes to river cruising. So to touch on the discernible differences, our panorama suites, which I'll also mention in the next couple of slides, really does set us apart, and we win award after award after award. Our flex dining and our options of dining is also something that is really unique to Avalon. Our choice excursions as well. So not only do you get the classic style wine tastings and city tours, we get some different options along the way, whether it's a painting class or a cooking class, for example, or keeping a little bit active on our active and discovery cruises, which is a completely new style of cruising for us and for most of the river cruise industry. And we're really seeing an uptick in those. We also have some special interest cruises, whether it's garden lovers during the tulip time or photography lovers or art history lovers on different rivers as well. And then from time to time, we'll invite someone from the culinary field, like Vikram Vij from Vancouver, to do a culinary cruise. So we do have a lot of different types of cruises. And then, of course, sustainability. All of our ships are green rated, and I'll touch on that at the end of the presentation as well. But it really is all about your outlook. And we have our suites are 30% larger. Now, when it comes to river cruising, unlike ocean cruising, the ships have to be the same width because of the locks that we go through. And we decided long ago that we didn't really need a French balcony. So what we did was we pushed the balcony out to the edge of the suite, which allows 30% more space that you can use all year round. And I say that because if you're in Europe at the moment on the Christmas markets, if you've got a French balcony, it's probably a little bit too cold to go out and use it. So we have open air balconies, which also allows us to push our bathroom wall out and have a really full-size bathroom, which is something that gets complimented on every single time clients go on it. Whether they've done another company's river cruise or an ocean cruise, a lot of the feedback is they were surprised at how large the bathroom was because we've managed to push our wall out, put it on an angle, and all the beds do face the river. And you can see here, you've got an open air balcony, which opens so you can enjoy the view while you're sailing along the Danube or whatever river it is. And if it's raining or it's a bit cold outside, you don't have to sacrifice that space either. So our panorama suites, 80% of our rooms are panorama suites. So most of the clientele sailing with us will sail in our award-winning panorama suites, and all of our ships are panorama suite ships, including the brand new Avalon Alegria, which means happiness in Portugal. And it is definitely a Portuguese ship. It's going to be sailing on the Douro come April next year. And then we also have the Avalon Saigon as well, which is also a suite ship. So when you're traveling with Avalon, you know that all of our ships are designed the same way. So that's like coming home and a very familiar feel. Let's talk about food. I've done a couple this year, a couple of Avalons, and I usually fast during the day, but I gave that up on day one. The food is absolutely phenomenal. And one thing I like to note is that it's a very relaxed atmosphere, whether you're eating in the dining room or the bistro. It is more of a relaxed feel. You don't have to dress up in a dinner suit and an evening gown. You have a 2-hour window for all breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So there's no set times. There's no set seating places. For breakfast, you get mimosas or champagne. For lunch, you get local beer and wine. And for dinner, you get local beer and wine as well. And there's always 3 options in wine. It's usually red, white, and rosé. Always from the local area, not just the country, but the local area that we're from. So you really do get to try the local food. And the menu changes every day as well. Whether it's goulash in Budapest or Wiener Schnitzel in Austria, the menu will change every day. You'll have a very local dish, and then you'll have a regional dish as well, and then some classics throughout your cruise. So it's varied along the way. And for those of us that like to stay a little bit healthy, and maybe they've splurged the day before on a big goulash or a pork knuckle in Munich, we do have Avalon Fresh Fare, where we partnered with Michelin star chefs, the Rank brothers out of Vienna, and they've created an entire vegetarian menu for all of our European river cruises. Not only do we have all of breakfast, lunch, and dinner options for Avalon Fresh Fare, but we have mocktails made up with Avalon Fresh Fare as well, to make sure that those of us who don't really indulge in a few drinks after a long day, you can still be part of the fun and don't feel left out with the Avalon Fresh mocktails as well. And on both of my cruises, there was 15 options. So lots and lots of options for food and plenty of food as well along the way. lots of options to seat and to take your food as well. So the dining room is probably the most popular. Breakfast is always served in the dining room. There is a fresh omelette station, incredible menu changing daily. You can order off the menu or you can go up to the buffet. And for lunch and dinner, you've got two options, either the dining room and the bistro. The bistro is smaller portions of what you would get in the dining room. For lunch, there is a carving station and a pasta station. And then for dinner, it is a sit-down menu that changes daily as well. And again, 2-hour window, you'll have to go into the dining room or to have your dinner. On nicer days, we'll often open up the Sky Grill, as you can see in the middle picture there, where we offer a barbecue style meal, whether it's lunch or dinner. It's a beautiful setting up there. There's lots of seating on the Sky Deck as well. And then if you just want to sleep in one day, or you're just wanting to chill out and watch the world go by on your panorama suite, you can order room service as well. So there's lots of options there. We also have our club lounge at the back of the ship, which is open 24/7 with snacks, tea and coffee making facilities, and also our water station. There's also tea and coffee making facilities 24/7 in the bistro. And every day at 4 o'clock, we have afternoon tea, which is usually bread, cakes and sandwiches and some healthy options as well. So lots and lots of options for food. And if you decide to have a late night aperitif, then we'll have some late night snacks as well served in the bistro. But lots of options for food, and then plenty of options for some for drinks as well. And so we don't have drinks packages, and it's not all inclusive, but we have happy hour every day on us. So from 5:45 to 6:45, happy hour is on us, where it's local beer, wine, and spirits, and then a signature cocktail plus up to 15 different cocktails, all the classics you can think of, like your whiskey sours and things like that. And then, as I mentioned before, the mocktails. So that's every day in the bistro just before the port talk, and then you'll head up to dinner. So there really isn't many times where you're having to go up to the bar and pay. It's a very reasonably priced. It's about €5 for a beer, the bar, but you can also BYO. If you've gone out to a winery, or you have a wine or a certain beer or liquor that you like, you can go and buy it at a local liquor store and bring it on board. And the only time we would charge corkage is at dinner. You can drink it in your room, the bistro, the Sky Deck, everywhere else. So you're allowed to BYO when you travel with us. I also mentioned some excursions that we do. So I've been lucky enough to do an active and discovery cruise and a classic cruise. Now, we have 3 different styles of excursions: classic, active, and discovery. And they're almost self-explanatory, but I'll explain a little bit. So our classic style cruises have 80% options for classic excursions, and then 10 and 10 for active and discovery. Classic excursions might be a wine tasting or a cheese tasting or a walking tour of the old town of Venice, whereas an active is, again, pretty self-explanatory, but you can jump on a bike, an e-bike, depending on the difficulty of, or the incline of the bike ride. And there's also kayaking and canoe trips along some of the rivers as well. And then the discovery are a really unique range where you can do a painting lesson in the style of Vincent van Gogh, which I actually did in Amsterdam on my last cruise. You can do cooking classes in Vienna, where we go to a local market, get the ingredients, and we also cook a Viennese pastry. Or you can do a bit of a combination. I did one in Austria, which was a bike ride through the fields to an organic farm along the way as well. So you get to see what it's like to drive through or ride through the locals area and getting off the shore of the banks of the river. So active and discovery, as I mentioned, it's a unique style of cruising, and it's a very popular style of cruising with us, and it's growing. We've got it on all of our rivers, and it really does give you a different experience. You can sail along the Rhine and from Amsterdam to Basel have a completely different experience, because we do a little bit more day sailing, and that means we stop in smaller or different and unique ports. So again, you can have a completely different experience. And with the excursions, they are flipped. We have 80% active and discovery and 20% classic. But with all of our cruises, you get at least 1 excursion included a day, sometimes 2, because if we're sailing during lunchtime, you'll have a morning and an afternoon included excursion. So every day you have them included. We're also seeing the active and discovery cruises bringing the average age down by about a decade, because we're seeing multi-generationals book on this. So we're seeing grandparents and their parents and their kids, because there's a lot of excursions that appeal to teenagers, whether it's painting or cooking or biking or yoga in the morning with the discovery host. For next year, we've upgraded our Wi-Fi. So we're using Starlink, which is Elon Musk's satellite Wi-Fi. It's fantastic. It was on my last cruise. So you can stay in touch with your loved ones back home, or if you're on a work trip, or if you're pretending you're working from the office, but you're over in Europe on a river cruise, you can get some work done. We also have our Avalon Go app, which replaces any documents. I know that some people still like them and you still have the ability to do that. But inside 30 days, your clients will get access to the Avalon Waterways Go app, which has updated schedules every day. The menu as well. You can upload all of the maps if you want to go and do some free time shopping in Vienna, for example. It's a really unique tool to use while you're away. And that is accessible to all of your clients. I wanted to touch on a couple of itineraries that often people don't really think of, but the Active and Discovery on the Lower Danube. The Lower Danube is an amazing part of the world, and it really is different than the Upper Danube. I've been lucky enough to travel to a lot of the destinations in the Lower Danube, and it really is a really unique part of the world. Now, whether it's taking a walk through Bucharest or heading up to Severit's Fortress, which is here, or doing a beer tour when you get to Novi Sad, which is definitely something up my alley. But one of the destinations on this itinerary that I really was blown away by was Belgrade. The locals are amazingly friendly, and the walking tour that we do there is one of the best walking tours, in my opinion, and all of our destinations. So it's a different part of the world if your clients have traveled along the Danube or the Rhine, or they want to try something a bit different. And of course, the Iron Gates is an incredible area of the Danube as well, ancient Roman fortresses. And then we have the beautiful Rhine and Moselle. The Moselle is growing in popularity exponentially. It is a place where we stop a lot of the time and people go out and have their picnic lunch that we can cater for in the vineyards. But it's a beautiful part of the world, and most of my colleagues that have done it, or all of my colleagues that have done it, have said that the Moselle is fast becoming their most favorite river. But it's a beautiful itinerary, starting in Amsterdam and finishing in Luxembourg City, which is a little bit different. But you can head to Cochem, which I did on my last tour, visit Koblenz and do a brewery tour, which is a monastery brewery. There's only 11 left in the world, and we're lucky enough to go to about half a dozen of them on all of our itineraries. So some really different destinations, and it's an all year round. You can see here, fall is a great time to travel along the Rhine, and also Christmas markets in some of the cities like Heidelberg and Strasbourg as well. And lots of wine along the Moselle. That's a wine lover's paradise for sure. But not only are we in Europe, I wanted to spotlight one of our more affordable and definitely amazing cruises, the Mekong River. I used to live in Vietnam. I've lived there a couple of times now, and it's such a destination that I really encourage everyone to go to. We have a 3-night add-on and a 2-night extension at the end, but 7 nights on our beautiful Avalon Saigon, which is only 36 people, so it's very boutique, but you really do immerse yourself in the culture of Vietnam and Cambodia, including something that everybody should do is a cooking class. We also visit a women's charity that make our pouches for our headphones for our day tours, our walking tours. And to date, they've made 56,000 bags for us. And a really cool story coming out of that charity is one of the clients on a cruise earlier this year. We gave her the contact details of the charity, and she commissioned them to make 30,000 bags, little cotton bags for her industry, and she works in the teachers industry. She's the head of an association, so all of the teachers got a Christmas present from the charity that we use, which is such a cool way to give back to the locals. And if anyone's traveled to Cambodia before, you'll know that the equality is definitely not there, and so we're doing all we can to help out the women, the local women of Cambodia. And then brand new for next year, we're very excited about this. We just got the keys to our brand new ship about a month ago. It is the Avalon Allegro, which means happiness. And we know that this cruise will bring happiness to all of our clients. The demand for Portugal is unbelievable. For next year, we were 95% sold out for the entire season. So we've added 2 departures in November because it's definitely a season that goes longer into the year in Portugal. But starting and finishing in beautiful, quaint Porto, and then heading out to the Spanish border in Salamanca, where you get a lot of different inclusions along the way. Excuse my froggy throat. Whether it's visiting the Roman ruins of Gumarães or definitely something that everybody wants to do when they're in Portugal, is have a port tasting in Porto at the very end as well. You can also add Lisbon to the end of this, a 3-night extension to Lisbon, but it is definitely one of the more popular destinations that we're seeing, and to be 95% sold out without even having a ship is pretty incredible. The ship itself is only 102 passengers, so again, smaller ships but bigger experiences. The panorama suites, which I neglected to mention earlier, are 200 square feet. So again, 30% larger than the industry standard, and they're the same on the Avalon Allegria as well. And it's the first ship that we've got that has a pool on the deck as well. So a nice way to sail through the Douro. The Douro is a little bit different than the Rhine or the Danube, where the towns are over the hills and the vineyards. So it's a totally unique experience. And the feedback that I get, I've done a couple of day cruises on the Douro. It's so different, and it's just an amazing part of the world. And we're not surprised that it's selling like crazy. We also do a lot of business with groups, and because we own our ships, we have a very, very great group policy. So a group for us is 8 passengers. You get paid your group rebate, which is your portion of a panorama suite when you have 9 paying passengers, so the 10th passenger. And then the group amenity for your clients is the complimentary prepaid gratuities. But I also like to mention that, for an example, if you book a group for the Christmas markets in 2025, you're locking in today's price with today's deals and discounts. And once you get your 250 deposit down, you lock in those prices no matter when people book, whether it's this month or next December or even in April 2025. Every client that books onto that group will be paying the same amount. So their price is grandfathered in. To secure or hold the group space, we just need a 250 refundable deposit. That's just one, that's not per person. And then as soon as you sell one cabin, we will ask what you want to do with that deposit. We can refund it, you can spread it across the group as an extra discount, or you can keep it for extra commission, or pay for your husband or your wife's cruise, depending on who you're taking. And then all it takes is 250 per person to secure the person's spot. You have up to 180 days to name the 5 cabins, to put the names down and get the deposits down, and then final payment is 90 days. You can also charter or half charter depending on the destination. It would mean a full charter is 128 passengers or half the ship on one of our bigger cruises. A great way to charter a ship is in the Mekong, where only 36 passengers is the entire ship. So whether it's a school group or a family group, or you have that clients that travel on ocean cruises every year, it's an amazing way. So speak to your BDM about how to help us grow your group revenue. You also get the services of a groups coordinator instead of dealing with the general reservations, and they'll talk you through the entire way. And the group can split, they can do pre and post differently. They don't have to be on the same flights. The only thing that is the same is the same departure date or sailing date with Avalon. Special interest cruises, as I already mentioned, I'm a big craft beer man, so I definitely want to head to Belgium and Holland and Belgium waterways, because we've got a lot of beer tasting and beer enthusiast cruises, a lot of culinary cruises, as I've already mentioned. Christmas markets are unbelievably popular with very good reason. It's such an amazing, magical time of year in Europe. Also garden lovers, I touched on during the tulip time season. Wine, of course, wine appreciation, photography, and history cruises as well. The Seine along the battlefields is an amazing history cruise, not just for war historians, but also for art as well. You get to see a lot of the works of Manet and Monet and even Van Gogh along the way. So some really cool, unique special interest cruises that we have for your clients or for yourself if you wanted to do your own cruise. And then we also have our Storyteller series, which next year we have Jen Hatmaker, we've got Graham McTavish, we've had Jan Arden on, we also mentioned Vikram Vij. So we release these about 18 months before they're set to sail. So there's plenty of time to get the word out to your clients. So keep an eye out for that. We always release them on our website, and then through Travelweek, we'll do the same thing as well. Sustainability is big for a lot of people, and it's big for us as well. We were one of the first cruise lines to be green, all of our ships to be green, but for every passenger that travels on a Avalon Waterways, we plant 2 trees through Trees for Travel. We actually only need to plant 1 to offset our carbon. So by planting 2, we're actually carbon negative on a lot of our cruises as well. We've also eliminated single-use plastics. There are water bottles available for purchase on our ships, or you can bring your own, and there's water stations everywhere. The Go app, as I mentioned, eliminates the use of paper, so you don't have to worry about that. And then instead of having handouts, paper handouts for the itineraries and daily schedules. We have digital screens. And then at the end of the cruise, we send you an email that you can submit your survey to. We also have an amazing travel agent portal called Agent Lingo. If you're not familiar with that, please sign up by going to Globus Family or Globus or Avalon or Cosmos and sign up. It's the one-stop shop for all three brands. It's getting a massive revamp in February. For those of you already signed up, you don't have to do anything, but it's a great way to make bookings if you don't want to be on hold for, our average hold time is only 9 minutes at the moment. The goal by the end of Q1 is 3 minutes. So it's not bad. I know some people like to talk to their agents as well, but you can book on here. You're going to get a lot more functionality with pre and post accommodation and different things as well in February. There is a lot of things you can do, whether it's add payment, add details, do the pre-check. Any promotion that we have going at the moment is available on Agent Lingo as well. So if someone's wanting an amazing deal, you can create your own flyers and social media posts, and then training and benefits as well. So doing the Avalon Waterways Specialist Program is on here. And our goal at the Globus Family of Brands is really to be a partner for profit. We want to grow your business together. Amazing quick booking system, and it's one system for all three brands. We don't have any NCFs. I don't know, there's been an announcement for one particular company in the news in the last week or two. Commission with a comma, I always say that, especially with Avalon Waterways, the average is around about 3,300, to be honest, when people book everything pre and post. We pay your commission within 2 weeks of final payment. It doesn't matter if your clients aren't traveling until 2025. Once we have full payment on file, we pay you within 2 weeks. And ACTA have actually recognized us as being one of the best to deal with. Over half of our customers will travel with us again, and a lot of them will book within 90 days. And then we are owned by the same company that started the Globus Family of Brands 95 years ago, and we are debt-free. So coming out of the pandemic, there's not many companies that can say that. So we invest in our trade partners. All of our BDMs are 100% trade focused. We don't deal with direct at all. And so one way to do that is by being debt-free and reinvesting everything that we do into the trade part of our business, which is about 90% of what we do. Here in Canada, it's even higher. So all your BDMs will be there to support you throughout the way. Now, one thing that I often hear when I walk into agencies is, do you have any FAMs? And I was a travel agent in a past life as well. And I know that is the best way to help sell, by experiencing it. So what we do have FAMs throughout the year. We will have FAMs for 2024, but if you aren't successful, or we don't have enough, or the timing just doesn't work out, then you always have access to Avalon's Suite Rewards program. You can travel to Europe or the Mekong on a 7-night cruise in a panorama suite, which are those beautiful 200 square foot suites, for 1,155 Canadian per person, and your partner can travel for that as well. And that includes taxes. So that is probably better than some FAM participation fees as well. And to access the FAM rate, you just have to have sold one Avalon passenger, not even a cabin, just one passenger, and be an Avalon Waterways Specialist Program graduate. And now that is within the last couple of years, you have to have sold someone, and you can sail as soon as your clients have sailed or they've paid in full. It's an amazing travel agent discount, and it's not just limited to certain times of year or certain rivers. If you go on to learning and benefits, training and benefits on Agent Lingo, you look at Avalon Suite Rewards and click on the 2024 departure dates, sailings. There are so many, there's hundreds of sailings that you can choose from, whether it's Christmas market or it's in summer or it's the time of year that you want to go. It's not restricted. So please, by all means, if you've got a passenger on the books or you've got clients that are thinking about it, this may just entice you, because you'll be able to travel on an Avalon Waterways river cruise. And if you want to stay in touch with us and keep up to date, and you basically delete all your emails from partners, which I understand as well, you can keep up to date with us on our Facebook page, which is specifically for Canada. It's our Globus Canada travel agent page. There's around about 2,000 members. We provide you with all the updates, whether it's a deal or a new tour or a new cruise or something really cool that's come out. You can also ask questions, and I guarantee that at least one of the 2,000 people on there, whether it's someone from Avalon or a travel agent, has an answer for your question that have maybe done what you're asking or can help you out as well. But it's a great way, and anything that's on there is shareable. So if you want to share it to your own page with the links and everything, and the call to action be to you, then by all means, feel free to use that as well. Now, for those of you in the true north, we have one of the biggest sales rep teams in Canada, I believe. So we've got 3 of us on the West Coast. Myself and Xenia look after BC. So I look after the island, the lower mainland, and Xenia looks after Vancouver, the Fraser Valley, and the interior. Leslie looks after the prairies and the territories. I'm sure if you're in those areas, you've known Leslie. She's been with us for 17 years. Then we have Michelle, who looks after the east, and then 3 of our amazing BDMs in Ontario, Hillary, Carolina, and Maurizio. You'll know who your BDM is if you go onto Agent Lingo and scroll all the way down to the bottom. That will show you who your BDM is, whether it's Hillary or myself or Leslie. We also have inside sales team to support you once you've got a booking, or even before you've got a booking, that can help with little things, and lots of resources as well. So we're here to help you grow. We have an amazing team in place. Not only do we have this team, but we also have inside marketing team and trade dedicated people as well. So feel free to reach out to us at any given time, and we're always happy to help, whether it's just general questions, it's groups, it's hosting an event, or anything like that. So that's my presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing and then open it up to questions and answers. I've seen the little number get up to 6 there at one point in time. Hopefully Zane hasn't been inundated. But if there's any other questions, I'm more than help. Yes, I knew it. My question was just answered, Claudette. Yeah, often that does happen, but I appreciate people's questions. It shows that you're paying attention. Cool. So if anyone has any questions, Candice, are we able to open it up to questions and answers?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, just thank you so much for that presentation, Billy. And Zane, thank you for answering so many questions during the presentation. Wow, just such amazing products, such beautiful cruising options and excursions. I'm like, okay, when is my next trip now? So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us and with our travel agent community. A lot of the questions that were coming in did get answered during the presentation. We had a lot of questions about fans, just as you mentioned right at the end there. So yeah, so I hope, again, that all our travel agents heard all of that information. Could we maybe just get the name of the specialist website one more time for everybody? Because I think that will just help them in terms of knowing where they can go.
You mean, hang on a second, I'm just sharing it again. This one? I know there's a question. Yeah, there's a question about that. So this is this the one you were talking about? Yeah,
and also the isn't there like a specialist program that you mentioned as well?
Yep, and I'll show you exactly where that is right now. I'll share this and I'll walk everyone through it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Just we had so many questions about that.
No worries. So to log in, Agent Lingo, www.agentlingo.ca, and then you log into your account as you normally would. If you don't have an account, then you would register. And then all of the most important tools are up here, these little bars here. I won't go through it all, but the main question that people are asking is where to find out about the suite rewards. So the training and webinars on GFOB University actually is where you would go to do your specialist program. Now you can see here Avalon Waterways Specialist or Globus Tour. You can do both. We would love it if you did both. But to access the suite rewards, you need to do the Avalon one. It takes about 45 minutes. Honestly, I did it on day 2 and I was brand new to river cruising. So if I passed it, I'm sure everyone else can. And then to get the suite rewards FAM details, once you've completed that and you've got a booking, you just click on Suite Rewards FAM program. And it has all of the terms and conditions, what it takes to qualify, the pricing, including pre and post accommodation, things like that. And it is in the panorama suites. As I mentioned, we're not going to put you on the Swan View. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, you can see.
Billy, sorry, for some reason your screen isn't showing. Right now we're just seeing like a jogger.
A jogger?
On the beach, Sorry.
Okay. I'm sharing the wrong screen. There we go. That better?
Yeah, we got it now.
Perfect. So how I got here is heading to Agent Lingo. We'll go home. Agent Lingo, this is how you would make a booking. make payments, all of this kind of thing. I know there's a question about guest acknowledgement, which I'll get to in a second. All the promotions that are live and in market at the moment, making flyers, social media tiles, checking your welcome back credits that you have with clients, and then training and benefits, GFOB University. You have either Avalon Waterways Specialist or Globus Tour Director, Tour Expert. And then by completing these, then you get access when you apply for a FAM, you have to have had these done. And then the suite rewards, specifically for Avalon Waterways, all of the conditions and the qualification is here. And then if you scroll down a little bit, if you've got a very last minute cruise plan for this year or for next year, you can see the different departures that are available as part of our suite rewards. So here you've got the Danube, the Mekong, Tulip Time, all of these
Excellent.
departures. And to decipher what these numbers mean, it's very easy once I tell you. 4, 2024, 7, July, 8 is the 8th of July. So that's the departure date of the active and discovery on the Danube. So there's lots of different options for your clients, and it's not restricted, or sorry, for yourself. It's not restricted to a couple of months or a couple of departures, which is what we love. We love to give everyone the opportunity to travel when they want to travel. And then when it comes to FAMs, yes, we're talking about FAMs at the moment. Some of them will be industry-wide, which is what I want, but there will be some partner-specific ones. They'll be communicated through your parent account, but we will be having FAMs next year for all brands. So just keep your eyes and ears peeled. If you haven't booked us before, that doesn't mean that we exclude you from applying for a FAM. That's the whole point of getting people on, is to give you the experience to help sell. So yeah, and then I also have, Zane's typing now, if your clients don't want or don't have a smartphone, then yes, there is options for you to fill out the guest acknowledgement. They just have to fill it out with you there. You can print it out and then you could submit it to us that way.
Okay, thank you for that. And just to clear it up, because we had a few agents asking about the website, is it agentlingo.ca? Some agents are asking, or is it agent.globusfamily.ca?
So it's specific. You have to put the www in, which
There
is
you go.
odd. www.agentlingo.ca.
Okay.
Please make sure it's .ca, not .com, but you have to put the www in, and then it'll take you to agents.globusfamily.ca.
Awesome. And travel consultants, in the follow-up email that you'll get after this webinar is over, you'll get a link to the recording of this video. And we can also put the www.agentlingo.ca link there for you, so you have it and you can just click through that way as well, so it's clear. Yeah. And so then in terms of other questions, I know a lot of people were asking about dietary restrictions on the cruises, like what options are there? I know you talked a little bit about Avalon Fresh, but we have a lot of consultants asking often for their clients about like gluten-free or vegan or something like that.
Yeah, that's no problem at all, as long as we've got advance notice. And then what I also suggest is for passengers to just mention that again when they check in, just to make sure that it's there. But we cater for everything, and there are so many different requirements these days, whether it's lactose, gluten, anything, and also whether it's allergies. We can make sure that if you've got a peanut allergy, what you're getting is not cooked in the same pan of a peanut, for example. So we're very welcoming and flexible when it comes to meals.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thanks.
Sorry, the chefs are always there, whether it's at the meat station during lunch or the omelette station. So they'll be able to answer your questions there. If you've got a question about what have you used, what ingredient, does this have onions in it, for example. So yeah, the food's incredible. And just because you've got a dietary restriction doesn't mean you're going to miss out. There's lots and lots of options. And there's always vegan options as well. As long as we know in advance, we can tinker with our vegetarian options.
Awesome. Thank you for answering that. We did have a question about excursions. Maybe Morgan was asking, how far in advance can excursions be booked?
Yep, you can book them as soon as you put down your deposit, or you can book them as late as the morning of. Now, some are limited to numbers. One example is a chocolate making experience in Belgium, but we can often grab more spaces as we get nearer to the date. But they can book them as soon as they want, especially if it's something that it's a bucket list item that they really want to do, whether it's going to the only Trappist Monastery Brewery in Austria, for example. That's something that they can book in advance. Or if it's, a bike ride in Amsterdam, that's one of their bucket list items. They can book it as soon as they book, and then they can do it themselves within 30 days. The clients can, but we try and steer them to do it through their travel agent. But they can also change their mind the day of. If it's raining and they don't want to go on a bike ride, they can go and do a wine tour instead. And as long as there's availability, they can chat to the cruise director.
Amazing. That sounds great. We have a question from Karen about excursions as well. And she's asking, how do clients hear the guides? Do they have to have a mobile device, or are the guides live? How does it work?
Yep. Another great question. So we have every room, you'll get a little pouch, which the ladies in the charity in Cambodia make. It's a little blue pouch, Avalon pouch, and that will have 2 sets of headsets in there. And every morning we'll have color-coded guides. One will be yellow, red, blue, whatever color it is, and whatever excursion you're on, it'll be corresponding to that. And that's a little radio walkie-talkie device, and it clips on. You've got a little lanyard, you've got the headphones, and then you'll head off doing your walking tour, or whether it's a bike tour, and then you hear that way. So it's a little device that you can put in your pocket or your lanyard, and you're there, and you can hear everything and not miss out on anything and any information.
Excellent.
And you don't have to bring your own device or headsets. It's all included.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then there was one question that got answered, but I thought it might be good for everybody to hear, is what's the minimum age requirement for Avalon cruises?
Yeah, 8. 8 is the minimum.
Okay.
So it's a great question. And there's a few reasons why. A lot of the destinations aren't very kid-friendly, or there's, history buffs, unless you've got a child that loves history. And I mentioned earlier that the active and discovery options are great for teens because of all of the excursions, whether it's painting or cooking or the active style. So 8 is the minimum age. For Globus and Cosmos, it's 5, but for Avalon, it's 8.
Okay, thank you so much. That answers that question. It looks like now the majority of the questions have been answered. Yeah, we did the FAMs, and I'm just going through really quickly. Yeah, it looks like that's it. Zane has been really great at answering a lot of the questions as we've gone through 32 questions.
Well done, Zane.
So yeah, I'm glad that we could get everybody's questions answered either live or with Zane's help. So thank you very much. So I just want to finish off by again saying thank you so much, Billy and Zane, and to Globus family of brands for being here today with our Travel Week readers to present this amazing information to our readers. I'd also like to say congratulations to all the travel agents who have stayed through till now, because you are eligible for one of 2 $100 Amazon gift cards. So please stay tuned for the follow-up email where we will announce the prize winners. I'll also include the website to www.agentlingo.ca. And yeah, and you'll get a link as well to the recording of this on our YouTube channel. So travel agent community, thank you again so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Billy and Zane, thank you again. Is there anything you'd like to finish off with?
No, just thank you for your support. We love our travel agent partners, and have a safe and fantastic holiday season. And yeah, we look forward to an amazing 2024. And thank you, Candice and Travel Week, for giving us this opportunity as well.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. And we have lots of travel agents saying thank you as well. Michael, Leanne, Colleen, everyone saying thank you. Happy holidays. This was a great presentation. So thank you again. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully all again in the future. Okay. Take care.
Stay warm. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.